So what drew me to landscape architecture was that that combination of science and engineering and design. I was initially an engineering major, and I liked the problem solving aspect of it, but I realized I wanted to do something a little more creative while still having that science, problem solving, um, and something focused with people, because I grew up in an area where we had people over all the time, and we grew up next to a creek. My house was next to a creek with a field and woodlands, so we had people all the time at our house, and that's when I started to make the connections between how people can interact with each other and the landscape all at once. So I didn't realize how much of an impact that had on me until I started studying landscape architecture. I found Temple just through my research. In When I figured out I wanted to study landscape architecture, I just started looking into schools. I wanted to stay in Pennsylvania because I just wanted to stay in state. And I came across Temple's program. I liked that it was just 4 years. And I, so after I applied and I got accepted, I toured the main campus with my dad, and then there we found out, oh, if you're a landscape architecture major, you'll actually be taking some classes at Ambler. So we drove up to Ambler that same day and toured. Someone gave us a very spontaneous tour of campus, and I really appreciated that there was a separate campus for the program, which seemed really special. So yeah. I would say what makes Temple's landscape architecture program unique is that we have our own campus with landscape architecture and horticulture. And through that, the campus can be sort of our classroom. We take a lot of plant classes where we go outside and look at all the plants and learn about them. And then the second part of what makes it unique is definitely the design build course. I don't think too many other programs have that, and I think it's really awesome that we get to build something from start to finish, bring it to the Philly Convention Center where people can come see it. I think that's really awesome. Yeah, so those are two very unique parts of our program. The 2024 Philadelphia Flower Show was a really awesome experience. I was part of the paths and pools section of our exhibit, and I found it really unique and an awesome experience in building, and it was very hands-on. So I got to learn a lot of new things that I didn't think I would learn in this program, just from using tools, and just seeing something from start to finish was so cool, because most projects are theoretical and they won't be built. So being able to actually see it was awesome. And then my other favorite part about it was after it was built and set up at the convention center was just being able to talk to people about it. I really liked that interaction, and just getting to talk about what you designed with so many people was really fun. I would say the benefit of the design build project is it really makes you think about so many aspects of design that sometimes I think you might not think about if it's a very big scaled project. So for example, we're really thinking about the materials we're using and how that's going to feel as you're walking on it or as you're only a foot away from it. So it really makes you consider those details that you might not think about in other projects. And it's also just such a collaborative project, which is cool. You get to work with your classmates, and it's very collaborative. My first internship during the program I was able to do through the Lori Wagman Internship Fund. I worked at a small landscape architecture firm in my hometown, which is Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And through the fund, I got to intern there because It's a sort of a small firm, so they didn't really have funding for an intern, but the, the award fund allowed me to work there. And it was a really great experience because I was so familiar with so many of their project locations, because I grew up there. So I'd be working on a project and I'd be like, oh, I know this place really well. And I know who, I'm familiar with the people that the projects are going to like directly impact. And it also just made me realize how impactful some small interventions can be. Like we did a river access point, which is pretty small, but it allows so many people to get to the river and go kayaking and take advantage of what the community has to offer. And then my second internship was at Stoneleigh, a natural garden, which is in Villanova, Pennsylvania. And that was more of like a horticulture internship, but it allowed me to really gain some more knowledge on plants and how to work with them and how to plan thinking about plants and how they're going to be maintained in the future. And that was a very valuable experience. Also working with the volunteers there, which was fun to just dig in the dirt with some people. And yeah, my Temple experience overall has been great. I was a transfer student, so I did the doubling up of studios my first year, which was a little challenging just because it was a lot of work, but I'm glad I did it. And yeah, I've enjoyed having both the main campus experience and the Ambler campus experience, just because in landscape architecture you're dealing with cities and rural areas, and so it's nice to be in both environments while you're thinking of places. The Ambler campus has been a great resource for landscape architecture students just because we're in an arboretum, so going outside for plant classes and learning about the plants is really helpful. And then just the fact that we're all here as one major, as one program is nice. All your professors are around, so you can meet with them kind of whenever. And yeah, with the design build as well, having a space to build and having materials nearby to play around with, I think is really awesome. After graduation, I plan on looking for jobs. I'm hoping to stay in Philadelphia because I think Philly is kind of a landscape architecture hub, I would call it. So there's so many amazing landscape architecture firms, big ones, small ones, so I'm open to working anywhere just to get some experience. And ultimately, I just want to work for a firm where I can design for people and design spaces that are sustainable and resilient and have an impact. My advice for students on the landscape architecture path would be, well, for design and design projects, to just be patient with yourselves, because sometimes designing can be a little frustrating if you're not getting it perfect, but design will never be perfect. And just being able to work with other people, because we do so many group projects, and ultimately you'll be working in a group in a firm in the real world, so it's good to get that experience working with people and accepting other people's ideas and being open to that. So yeah, that would be my advice.